Welcome to our first episode of the Real Rugby. It's not down under now. We're going up north to Europe, where we're going to destroy some people. First game, obviously, is against Wales. Last game is against England. I don't care what the middle game is. Alu and Tumelo, welcome, gents. How are you feeling ahead of this outgoing tour?
Well, for some reason, I don't think South Africa will win all three matches. I would like them to win all three matches, but I don't think they will. And for me, it doesn't matter a lot. We are still the world champion. That's what matters the most. And we're also trying out new combinations and not so worried. I do want the Springbok to win every match, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And looking at the world's team, they are also missing a couple of key players. So I'm not sure how this will go, but I still think South Africa is a upper end on this.
Yeah, I think we completely ran over everyone on this tour. Jacques is not, is not experimenting too much. Although I would have liked him to, he's not. We've pretty much kept a core of what our team looks like and what it does. And although we won't have Sister Bettina at the principality, I hope we do, because that always gives us that 10% extra boost and chance to win. But even without Sister Bettina, I think this Welsh team, has been depleted enough for us to just to go to the principality and just smash them around. So I expect the Boks to do quite well.
Talk us through the feelings that go through the body after you listen to Sister Bettina. No, I'm joking. A few things to talk through, right? Obviously, the selection. Any surprises there? No surprises. You say he kept most of the team. Did you expect Willie to go?
So I actually expected a few more changes than what he has brought into the team, and the name of Apelele comes to mind first and foremost. Without a wing, recognized wing, he's played wing here in South Africa, but I would have actually liked to see him at fullback. Because we know what Mr. Willems brings to the table, and he's always, I see him as always being used as a utility back. He's never gonna button down that fullback role, whereas Apelele is an out-and-out fullback, and I expect him to play there at the next World Cup. So I would have expected him to start at fullback, but by and large, there's no major surprises.
So they argue that the thing about Damien is that he hasn't gotten much of an opportunity in the team. He's been in and out really and not had the opportunity because obviously of what they needed from Willie during the World Cup and subsequently with the Lions tour. Is that a fair argument?
Yeah. So I also would have liked to see Apelele in the starting lineup. But I do understand the thinking behind it. I mean, both Damien Willems and Jesse Kriel, they've been second fiddle for the last 3 years. They've been waiting in line. And the first, Willie Le Drop has not been doing well. This is an opportunity for another fullback to come in. And Willems has been there before the World Cup as a possible fullback. So I think it's fair on those players to say, you've been patient all this time. Let's give you an opportunity. So, but I really wanted Apelele to be there. I understand the thinking. Jesse Kriel has been like playing second fiddle to Damien Willems, Damien Dilandi, and Lucanio Arm. He has been waiting forever, and they are not getting opportunities in those positions. So I think it's fair for them to come into.
Isn't this the problem with the Springboks? Like, we have a system where we want to be fair to guys, and the reason why Jesse Kriel is not in the team is because he's being kept out by two really good centers. Like, you can't not play Lucanio, you cannot play Damien thingy. You cannot play them. And the argument of saying you wait, I don't think New Zealand necessarily goes, these guys are in line, therefore, when somebody else greater comes along, we're not going to play them because these guys have been waiting longer in line. Isn't that what's holding us back? I mean, Fassie, against the opportunity he got, was against Australia. And within seconds or minutes, the game started. He had already scored a try, cross kick from Yankees. I mean,
no, against Argentina. Against Argentina. Against still against Argentina, Brian, not Australia. So, but yeah, I understand. I wanted him to play. I would have went with him. But if you have some sort of policy in the team, I think if that is the thinking, I'm assuming, I think there is some fairness in it. But I would have liked to see Fassie, but I think he's going to start at fullback or wing against Scotland. Definitely, that's I can bet on.
Yeah. Look, I this fairness. Yeah. Look, we have guys, especially in the forwards, in the back row there that don't get as many chances. We rotate the same sort of players in those positions. So I think the best man for the job is the man that should get chosen. And at the moment, I do not think Damien is the best man at fullback. Again, because he's been used as a utility back. He doesn't command any specific place. He's very good in multiple spots, but he doesn't command the fullback role the same as Aphelele would. But I do get the argument that you've been around an environment for long. You sort of know how Willie has been commanding the fullback position, but my argument is still Aphelele is easily the best fullback in the country, and he should get the nod.
He never admitted, like when he was asked, he said that first he was disappointed. In essence, here's a guy who deserves to be there, but he's not going to be there because there's a waiting line. We need to somehow pay to somebody who stuck around, even though they have never been really good enough to get into the team. I mean, the reason why we're even having some of these conversations about who's going to be playing in these positions is because Nkosi himself couldn't travel with the team because of visa complications. If Nkosi is there, maybe it looks a bit different again.
Yeah, but the other thing that you need to consider, like it's even appalling for people to see Aphelele not on the bench, but he's not on the bench because he's not good enough. He's not on the match 23 because of how we always pick our bench. We always pick one utility back and the second scrum half. So there was just no position in the bench for utility for fullback or winger, which is the two position plays for the Springbok. It looks bad that he's not even on the match 23, but that's just how they pick the team. That's why Nkosi, when Chesel Nkobi doesn't even make the team, though we think he might be just good enough to make the starting 15.
Yeah, I understand the argument if we have a bomb squad, right? If we're going with a bomb squad, I understand the argument. But now we've went with three backs. We've went with Reina on the bench. I think Elton is in the bench and Frans Steyn. Frans Steyn by the next World Cup might not make that World Cup, right? He has a solid boot and he played out of his socks last time we beat New Zealand. He's still good enough to play now. I don't think he will be at that stage at the next World Cup. So do we leave Damien on the bench to play that Frans Steyn role as a utility back, because he can play fly half, he can come in and cover the centers, and he can cover fullback as well. So do we leave him at that and get the specialist of a position like Aphelele to start the game? And he's a game breaker. He's a very exciting player. Get him in the game and get him better acquainted with the guys around him. I think he's a game changer for us.
So personally, when I saw what happened with Willie during the last game against New Zealand, I thought his career with the Springboks was over. Maybe they want him to pass on his experience to the other guys. I'm trying to think of reasons why Willie is still in the team. He keeps getting rewarded, in my opinion, for subpar performances. And I mean, if you want to keep guys out like Fassie, who are really doing well, then there needs to be good reason why you keep Willie in the team. What is the good reason?
So okay, yeah. So Willie Le Drop has been awful. There's no two ways about it. But in my mind, the reason why they always picked Willie Le Drop previously, yeah, putting the last match aside, in terms of one-on-one as a fullback, he has been solid in that regard. He doesn't miss tackles, and they were concerned for about 2 seasons with.
I just remember
He did miss one tackle in the last game. But on a normal day, he does not miss one-on-one tackle, which is very important for fullback. I think that's one of the reasons why he was always a preferred fullback, and also the fact that he had there's talks that he's quite influential in the Springbok attack. He joins the attack, and he has a good understanding with Faf and Pollard, and I think the Springbok went for that most of the time. They risked it. Even the World Cup, we were not happy with his performance, but we always believe that Rassie knows something that we don't. So I think match that was the last straw for me.
Yeah, I don't. You know that it must be that he's doing something in training, or his communication is out of this world. I've tried to look at videos of what he does that's so extraordinary off the ball, and I just do not see anything special that Vili does off the ball. On the ball, when he joins the line, Vili never runs straight. We can praise him for all the amounts of offloads and passes that he's made that led to tries. But if you look at the majority of them, he was actually closing space for the runner outside of him, because he doesn't run straight. The tries could have been and should have been easier because of the way the angles that Vili runs. He makes those tries a bit more tighter than we would like. So I think a guy like Apirela, as I say, and even Damien, I think Damien, although I think I rated Apirela higher than Damien in terms of fullback, I think Damien will make such a good difference this weekend, and it will be a breath of fresh air if he doesn't try to overplay, because I think he can be guilty of that sometimes.
I think it's the need to want to impress, because he wants his time almost. So he is almost like a guy like Kobus Reinek for me. Like sometimes I feel like he overplays in the moment because he doesn't pass. He wants to run the ball instead of making the passes. Let's get into number 10 position there. Alton Yankees, Andre Pollard. It's the outgoing tour. Obviously, Pollard has been playing every game this past year. Are you going to give Alton Yankees more of an opportunity here?
Yeah, again, I think Alton Yankees will start at 10 against Scotland, but I think they've been unfair on him. He deserves some reward. He has been with the team for 4 years, playing second fiddle to Pollard. So after the last match against New Zealand, I thought he deserved a start in this game, and unfortunately, I think with Yankees, there's always been issues where he has never been, particularly for the Springbok, he has never been consistent over a long period, and he's a little bit suspect on defense, and sometimes in the moment he will miss the easy kicks. Well, for the Lions, he never missed any of these kicks.
So here's
he
the
makes stupid.
And Pollard,
exactly. That's the thing. When we want to keep a player out of the Springboks, we say that he's inconsistent and and misses. But Pollard could easily be accused of the same things. And we keep guys in the squad because of things they did way back in the past. We keep Willie in the squad because, he brings other elements that are not visible. We keep Pollard in the squad because, his overall record over the years is like 75%. So give a guy like Alton Yankees a break, man. He's allowed to have a game that's off, but still play him because he's got the vision.
Okay, yeah. So I think there's also, from the coach point of view, I think there's also that element that if Yankees is a 10 from the start of the game, he's going to be targeted, and he will need to be very solid in defense, which is not his strongest point. So they look at Pollard in terms of defense, because with number 10, it's always going to be targeted by a big center, and Pollard in defense not a lot of teams try to go through that channel at all. But I honestly think he should have started in this match, and he deserved some reward. And I feel for him. I really feel for him.
Guys, I think, yeah, the Pollard. Look, I think Pollard is our number one, but I do not feel that I do not think that he's had a great year. And coining positions to certain people is for me an issue. I think every single box should earn their shirt, and barring perhaps the captain for the tour. I think that he pretty much has that position for the tour. But if he doesn't perform, even he it should be dropped. But I think everyone else, it should be performance based, and I do not think Andre has done well over an extended period of time. So maybe Elton should have been given a chance, especially with the first two games, because Wales is not at their best or does not have their best team. Will not be putting out their best team. And the following week we arguably playing a weaker opposition in Scotland, or the following match. So I think Elton surely could have done with a decent run of games because the ball game is not complicated, right? And Elton can kick up and unders, and we saw he's good at that as well. He can kick cross kicks.
Exactly.
He's good at that as well. So it's not a complicated game plan. I do understand the argument of teams targeting a weaker defender, if we even deem Elton that. But there's teams that most teams get around that somehow. Your Australia hide Quade Cooper quite well in instances, and I think the All Blacks will also do it because they want their best number 10 to play at number 10 in Moanga. So there's ways to if you deem it as such. I don't think he's as good a defender as a Pollard, but I don't think he's a weak defender. So I think Elton deserves a crack.
I'll tell you this, Tumelo, personally, and I know that we have a brand of rugby that we play in South Africa, and forwards are big, muscle guys, they're going to hit you back the whole time. But like, I appreciate an attacking type of game, like when we talk about your 10, a guy like Elton Yankees is going to offer you something going forward because of that creativity that we spoke about. And I appreciate that much more than choosing guys just because they're going to kick people out. But anyway, story for another day. Just a word of a special mention to the universe boss, look on your arm. Obviously, he's taking passes out the bag. He's doing all sorts of things out there. Any special things that you're expecting from that pairing, look on your arm, and the other guy, what's his name now?
Yeah,
Damien.
Yeah, so it's we have. Yeah, this is a good thing for South Africa. We have two very good centers, one big center, one guy who's very good in defense and attack. He reads the game very well. So my concern in that position is if any of them gets injured, who's next? You are looking at Damien Williamson, real people who have not been playing for a long time. You're looking at Francois Steyn. So, and we keep playing these guys every match, and they keep producing. And unfortunately, we have to, since they're the best pairing, they have to play more matches, which is a concern. I mean, injuries happen in rugby. So I think we need to give other people a chance there, which they're probably going to do against Scotland. But I think we need to put those players under pressure in a big game like Wales or England. Yeah, so, but this year for me, Lucanio Arm is possibly the best player in the Springbok team. Maybe
he missed against Australia.
Maybe next year, yeah, but yeah, it does happen. Maybe Sia and him, they're probably the best Springbok players this season.
Okay, let's move on from these guys. Tumelo, I want you to comment on our number 9, the Herschel Yankees, Cobus Reinecker, Grant Williams. Do you think Williams will get an opportunity during this outgoing tour?
I actually don't think he'll get any shot in, unless something happens to the other two. I don't see him getting a shot in because he's beyond that, the fourth best. So the top three I expect with these two playing specifically, they also backups. To our normal our blonde, yes. Yes, so these two are also backups. So I don't, and they don't have that much game time as well. I mean, Kubas only comes in if is injured. So I expect that the two guys to keep their positions or rotate between the two of them for the tour. I don't think Grant gets a look into the squad, unfortunately. It's the same as the Dupree brothers when, as I said earlier, in the forwards. We would have liked to see one of them being thrown in in the back row in earlier matches. But as you see, they just not making that cut. So I think Grant will be the same. He will be carrying the he'll be there carrying the weights for the guys and whatnot. He won't get a shot into the team. I don't see him playing.
Luani, don't comment on that. I want you, Luani, to speak about Joan Vermeulen. So he's revealed that he wanted to retire essentially from international rugby after the British and Irish tour. Obviously, he got injured, but that was his plan. And then Rassie and Ninaba asked him not to step down and carry on until the next World Cup in France. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that is great news for me. And I actually only checked it up like a couple of weeks back if it's possible for him to make it to the 2023 World Cup, and it is. He will be 38. And so I think they just need to manage him well. Likely, Saru has good control over the union, so he will play less matches for the Bulls. I think he just moved actually back to Europe, but he needs to play less matches there. That man is very key for our game plan. We have struggled to replace him, and I'm very happy. That's very good news for me, and I think he'll make it. 2023 is not that far out, and he showed in the last match. He won us the match against New Zealand, last minute still, and we won the game. So it still proves to be very important man of the match in the World Cup final. So I actually think he's still irreplaceable for the Springbok at this point.
Predictions, guys. Predictions. By how much are the Boks winning?
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna necessarily struggle against Wales. We tend to take some time to get going, especially I saw with this tour now that we had down under in Australia. But look, I don't expect us to lose any of these games. The only challenging game here, and challenging I use, for England, but we should get over the line with Wales, and we should get over the line by, let's say, 10 to 12 points. I don't think it will be a big margin, purely because we take long to get going, especially after we haven't played in a little bit.
Yeah, on my side, I think the Springbok will win, but I think the margin will be closer. I think it will be around 5 points, 6 points. So these games away, they tend to be very tough for South Africa. Even when we are on form, they tend to be very tough. We never blow teams away when we go up. And I think the last time we beat Wales was 2014, except for the win in the semi-finals. But they've been beating us, and funny enough, even though New Zealand they used to beat us all the time. The scores between South Africa and Wales, they're very close, and even Rassie said it. He feels they play the exact same way we play, and the team that always matches us in terms of style play, and we never really put big points against them. So that's why I'm saying 4 or 5 points.
I almost feel like Wales doesn't have that other special thing. They can match us, and they have the big players for physicalities, but they do lack something. They do lack those special players. Maybe a Kobe, maybe Makazole, maybe Lucanio, but they miss a certain element to their game, which makes them dominate even for medium to long term of periods. But yeah, definitely Springboks
I
are
think
in the first one.
I think we've picked a decent team. You know, and the halfback pairing that we have is a bit more exciting, and I use the word exciting loosely. They're more of the running a couple of guys, so I expect them to create more chances certainly. So I see it more with us winning with a bit more margin to spare, and given that, you know, the Welsh team has been disrupted so much, and they were blown away completely, by New Zealand. I do expect us not to blow them away, but I do expect us to put at least between 10 and 15 points past them. I cannot see them matching us at all.
So the reason I said 4 or 5 points, I'm factoring the referee. Factoring the referee into my results.
Don't bring Rassi into this. We're still dealing with an issue with the World Rugby Chief. He'll be summoned. They don't bring us. The refs don't like to be criticized at all, you know. All right, cheers, guys.
Guys, thanks for watching. Happy Diwali.
Subscribe.
Sure. Catch you next time.